Have you ever looked at someone and thought, how do they get so much done while you're still struggling to just start? Well, today we're digging into some really cool research that lays out a super simple, science-backed plan that can, and I'm not kidding, literally triple your chances of success. Let's jump in. You know that feeling, right? It's Monday morning. You tell yourself, this is the week I'm going to start working out. Or maybe I'm finally going to start on that big project. The intention is there, strong. But then Friday rolls around, and what's happened? Zip nada. The running shoes are still clean. The document is still a blank page. Turns out there's a name for this. Psychologists call it the intention-action gap. It's that huge, frustrating canyon between what we say we'll do and what we actually get done. So what's our first instinct? We blame ourselves. We think, I just don't have enough willpower, or I'm just not motivated. But here's the thing. What if that's not the problem at all? The research we're looking at today suggests it has almost nothing to do with willpower. The real issue, it's a failure of a very specific kind of plan. And this brings us to what you could call the goal paradox. It's this weird truth that just having a goal, even a goal you're super passionate about, is almost never enough to actually make it happen. Yeah, we are fantastic at setting goals. We're great at that first step of deciding what we want to do. That's what researchers call a goal intention. But that's usually where we stop. And that right there is where everything starts to fall apart. So how do we fix this? How do we build a bridge across that intention-action gap? Well, the secret lies in understanding that there are actually two different kinds of intentions. And that second one, well, that's the game changer. Okay? So look at this. On one side, you've got your standard goal intention. That's just the what. I intend to get in shape. Simple enough. But on the other side, you have something way more powerful, an implementation intention. This gets specific. It nails down the when, the where, and the how you're going to act. It's not just, I'll exercise. It's when this specific situation happens, I will do this specific thing. And the easiest way to lock this in your brain is with the if-then formula. An implementation intention is really just a simple plan you make for yourself that goes, if or when this happens, then I will do this. You're basically creating a trigger in your environment that automatically launches a pre-planned behavior. It's simple, but trust me, this is where the magic is. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, sounds nice, but does that little trick really work? Well, let's look at the proof. And it comes from a really clever set of studies that I like to call the Christmas goal experiment. So, for the first study, researchers went to a bunch of university students right before Christmas break. You know, a time that's famously calm and distraction-free. They asked each student to pick a really difficult, personal goal they wanted to achieve over the holidays. We read talking stuff like writing a really complex paper or finally resolving a fight with a family member. The results were, frankly, insane. For the students who just set the goal, the ones with only a goal intention, their success rate was a measly 22%. But for the students who also made a simple if-then plan about when and where they work on it, their success rate shot up to a whopping 62%. That is nearly 3 times higher just from adding one simple sentence. To make sure this wasn't just a fluke, they ran another experiment. This time, every student got the exact same goal. Write a short report about how they spent Christmas Eve and send it in a couple of days later. Half the students were just told to do it. The other half were also asked to create an implementation intention, to decide ahead of time exactly when and where they would sit down and write it. And just look at this chart. The no plan group, 32% of them did it. The if-then group, 71%. It more than doubled the follow-through. That tiny bit of planning made all the difference. So, what is going on here? Why is this little if-then trick so ridiculously effective? What's happening inside our brains? Well, it all boils down to one word: automation. This quote from the lead researcher, Peter Gollwitzer, just nails it. When you make an if-then plan, you delegate control. You're taking the decision-making burden off of your future self, who might be tired or distracted or just not feeling it, and you're handing it over to a trigger in your environment. The if becomes the button, and the then is the action that automatically happens when it's pushed. You are, in essence, creating an instant habit. You're outsourcing your willpower. You're no longer relying on feeling motivated in that exact moment. When that cue you picked happens, the action just follows. It's almost a reflex. You've completely removed the internal debate and the friction from the process. Okay, so the theory is solid. The science is there. But how do you actually put this to work in your own life? Like right now. Let's get really practical. Here are some killer examples. Instead of a vague goal like I'll eat healthier, try this. When the waiter asks for my drink order, then I will ask for water instead of soda. See? So specific. Or, instead of, I should really exercise more, it becomes, when it's 5:30 p.m., then I will immediately put on my running shoes and go for a 20-minute jog. The cue is concrete, and the action is non-negotiable. And that, right there, is the entire secret sauce. This is the whole point. You make the tough decision ahead of time, so when 5:30 p.m. actually arrives, you don't get a vote. You don't ask yourself, do I feel like running? The debate is over. The decision was already made by your past, motivated self. Your only job now is to follow the plan. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's one goal you have right now? One thing you've been putting off? And what is the one simple, super specific, if-then plan that could automate it for you and totally change how your week goes? Let me know your best if-then plan down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.